Well, I feel like I should belt out a song or something, but I can't sing. I don't know how to express my gratitude. I am completely floored, and I was telling somebody earlier that I keep expecting to wake up and realize this is all a dream. But let me say just a few words. Thanks to the Neustadt family. So much I don't know where you all are. I've seen Kathy. Susan, I don't know where you are. Oh yeah, thank you so much for inventing this wonderful honor. I'm speechless. And thank you to World Literature Today. Thank you, all of you. I've had such a wonderful few days here with everyone. And I don't know why nobody has yet taught me the "Oh, You Fight" song. But I feel like that's the song I want to belt out. So I offer peace and prosperity even more to the university here. And what else do I need to say? I only want to say a few words. I talked this morning to this wonderful group of middle schoolers, and I give a little bit of that speech here, but I don't want to say too much here. So let me just say, since I am a poet and express myself best in the words I struggle to shape, I'd like to let a poem speak the sense of being bowled over by the blessings of good luck. I'm going to read a poem from my book, Carver, A Life in Poems, which is a biography of the great African-American scientist and saint George Washington Carver. The poem I will read is in the voice of Carver at the age of 29. At this point in his life, he was a former slave with no living relatives. He was completely alone in the world. He had struggled to get an education from schools which did not want to teach him. And at this point in his life, at the age of 29, he thought he was going to be an artist. He didn't know he was going to be a scientist. He had had one painting win a prize at the 1893 World's Fair, the Chicago World's Fair. The painting was called Yucca and Cactus, and it's mentioned in this poem. And in this poem, what the poem describes, I think, is the fact that despite the many disadvantages with which he had to struggle, his mother was stolen and never found again. He and his brother were raised by the couple who had owned his mother. In spite of all of the hardships he had to face, he felt lucky. He felt blessed. And this is his poem. It's called A Charmed Life. Here breathes a solitary pilgrim, sustained by dew and the kindness of strangers. An astonished Midas, surrounded by exponentially multiplying miracles. My yucca and cactus in the Chicago World Exposition, friends of the spirit, teachers. Ah, the bleak horizons of joy. Light every morning dawns through the trees. Surely this is worth more than one life. So that's how I'm feeling. This is worth more than one life. And I have many, many gifts of gratitude to return to the world for the gifts that have been given to me. I'm going to Since everyone has a copy of one of my books, I thought instead of giving a speech that I would ask you to pretend you are my kindergarten class sitting in a circle in front of the teacher, and I will read to you. So I'm going to read Ostrich and Lark, a picture book intended for young children. You can follow along if you like. This is a book that was written, the text was written to be a vehicle for art produced by San artists from the Kalahari in Botswana. The San people are known sort of popularly as Bushmen, although they consider that an insult. If you saw the movie The Gods Must Be Crazy, then you have an idea of who they are. They are the people on the planet who have the least. They have nothing. They have no land. They have no belongings. They're still hunting or trying to be hunter-gatherers in countries in southern Africa which want to pen them in. And all of the proceeds from the sale of this book go to the Kuru Art Project, which is an NGO which works with the San people, encouraging them to paint and make art. It buys equipment for them and encourages them to hold on to their traditional culture. And again, this story was completely written to be a vehicle for their artwork, to make some money for them. So it's about things that they know, creatures that they know. They don't know how to illustrate books. Nobody had ever asked them to do that again, but they do know what an ostrich looks like. So I'll just read this book quickly, and you can pretend you're in kindergarten, huh? Ostrich and Lark started each morning together at first light, day in and day out, and they parted at nightfall. Every day they nibbled an ongoing meal, a few seeds here, a few seeds there, for ostrich the occasional lizard. All day the sun glared out of cloudless blue. Every day, all day, over the cicada's drone, a drizzle of buzzings fell and a downpour of bird song. Hornbill, bee-eater, hoopoi, Diederik, mousebird, huida, canary. From gray light come to last light gone, the fancy-dressed suitors of the veld warbled their rain-shower jazz. But ostrich was silent. Lark sang the first song of the day, perched tall, slender, and tawny brown on a termite castle or a low branch of a camel thorn tree. But ostrich was silent. When Lark sang, he flickered his wings and his white throat feathers trembled. All day Lark sang, standing still or flitting, his open wings vermilion spangled. But ostrich was silent. At dusk, Lark sought his hidden nest on the ground. Ostrich sat down under an acacia tree and tucked his head under one of his black and white wings. Sometimes he dreamed of flying. Sometimes he dreamed of singing the sky full of stars. Sometimes he dreamed of the green season, drinking caught water and drinking and drinking. At first light, Lark called, and together they started their day. One evening, as the great red sun sank toward the tree-spiked horizon and the birds swooped to their nests, as the plant eaters gathered at full alert and the meat eaters woke to prowl, as the gates of night opened to the dark, Ostrich fluttered his billowy wings, he stretched his graceful neck, closed his eyes, and twoo-woo-woot! Ostrich found his voice, a voice part lion's roar, part foghorn, part old man trumpeting into his handkerchief. Ostrich was booming, which is what ostriches do. The veld fell silent. An ostrich boomed like thunderheads on the horizon. Ostrich boomed like the rainstorm that ends the dusty months of thirst. Ostrich boomed like the promise of jubilant green, like the promise of birth. Ostrich boomed Lark right off his perch. Lark flew up to an ostrich-high branch and looked at his friend with a big wow in his eyes. Ostrich had found his voice at last, his own beauty, his big, terrific self. Thank you, and thank you for this award. Thank you so much.